If a doctor has ever looked you in the eyes and told you that you have fatty liver, or worse, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, let me tell you something powerful, something most people never hear. It is fully reversible. And not just reversible, you can begin healing faster than anyone told you was possible. In fact, in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do to start seeing changes in your body, in your energy, and in your lab results within weeks. I'll show you the foods you must embrace, the ones you must never touch again, and the hidden switches inside your body that, once flipped, allow your liver to begin repairing itself naturally, even if you're over 60, 70, or beyond. And stay with me until the very end, because we'll unlock the final piece. The most effective supplements seniors can use to help their liver regenerate and restore itself before it's too late. But first, a promise. This will not be another medical lecture. This is your roadmap to freedom, to energy, to a second chance at vitality that is still waiting for you. So breathe in gently, and let's begin. To reverse a condition, you must understand its root, and in the case of fatty liver, the truth is disarmingly simple. It's not caused by alcohol, it's not your age, it's not your genetics, it's the sugar, specifically fructose and sucrose, the sweet poisons hiding in plain sight. Now here's the trick. Sucrose, the table sugar you grew up with, splits into two enemies inside your body. One is glucose, and the other is the silent killer, fructose. Fructose is stealthy. It bypasses your brain's "I'm full" signals. It slips past your satiety hormones. And it trains your body to crave more, even when you've had enough. That's why it's so dangerous for seniors. It robs you of your internal brakes. It makes moderation almost impossible. Over time, fructose builds fat directly inside your liver, choking it from the inside, quietly, silently, until energy crashes, weight gain, and blood sugar chaos follow. But here's where the trance deepens. Fructose also causes something called leptin resistance. And once that kicks in, it's like living in a body that no longer listens to itself. Your hunger never turns off, your cravings hijack your decisions, and fat starts appearing in places you never asked for. Even worse, in just 7 days of high fructose eating, studies show fat begins sticking to your liver like glue, and your liver's ability to respond to insulin begins collapsing. But here's the miracle. Remove the source, and the damage begins to reverse. Even after years, even after decades, you just need to know where the poison hides. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at a glass of orange juice and thought it was healthy? Of course you have. We all did. We were trained to. But what if I told you that right now that glass is quietly harming your liver? The biggest source of dangerous fructose isn't just candy or soda. It's the things you were told were natural, fresh, good for you. Fruit juices. Yes, even the ones that say no added sugar, because they don't need to add it. The natural sugar is already concentrated beyond anything your body was designed to handle. Let this sink in. One glass of juice can hit your liver harder than a slice of cake, because juice is stripped of the one thing that protects you, fiber. When you eat an orange, the fiber slows down the sugar. It protects you. But when you drink orange juice, that shield is gone. And now that sugar floods your liver like a tidal wave, your liver can't keep up. It stores the excess as fat, and that fat becomes the quiet killer, fatty liver disease. So here's your first command. Eliminate all sugary drinks, no matter what the label says, no matter how natural it sounds. If it's liquid and sweet, it's not your friend. This includes orange juice, apple juice, tomato juice, cranberry juice, even organic blends. And yes, that includes so-called healthy energy and sports drinks. They are wolves dressed as fruit. You may be thinking, but what about dates, prunes, raisins? They're natural. They are. And they're also hyper-concentrated sugar bombs. See, dried fruit is just real fruit, but shrunken down and stripped of water, making the sugar more condensed, more dangerous, and much easier to overconsume. Think of it this way. It's hard to eat 5 plums, but it's far too easy to pop 10 prunes. And each one of those bites, it's another blow to your liver. Not because the sugar is bad, but because your liver was never built to handle that much at once, especially not past age 60 when metabolic flexibility begins to slow. In a major study published in JAMA, even adolescent boys at their metabolic peak showed major improvements in liver fat just by slashing their sugar intake to under 3% of daily calories. Now imagine the power of that protocol in a senior's body. Imagine what happens when you stop the daily sugar drip. Your liver starts breathing again, and in just weeks, markers begin shifting, inflammation starts dropping, energy begins to return. This is real, this is measurable, And it starts with a choice. Remove what hurts, feed what heals. And what heals best? Your body may be older, but your ability to rebuild it is still alive. And there is one macronutrient that acts like a rescue crew for your liver: protein. Not only does protein help your body rebuild, but it also reprograms your hunger hormones, especially when you consume it early in the day. In a powerful study involving over 9,000 people, researchers discovered that those who ate enough protein for their first meal, not lunch, not dinner, but breakfast, naturally craved less sugar and processed food for the rest of the day. Think about that. By simply shifting what you eat when you wake up, you can change what you crave at night. It's a chemical reset. And for seniors, that reset becomes even more powerful because your hormonal signaling is more sensitive, not less. So here's your hypnotic formula: 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal, especially for breakfast or whatever your first meal is. 3 times a day: stability, control, restoration. The more protein you eat, the less sugar you need. And the less sugar you eat, the faster your liver heals. But here's a warning: not all protein is clean. Some hides a darker companion: saturated fat. Now, saturated fat isn't evil, but too much of it can be the hidden enemy behind persistent liver inflammation, especially if you're getting it from bacon, sausages, butter, ice cream, store-bought fried foods. And for seniors, the danger amplifies. Why? Because liver function naturally slows with age, meaning it takes less fat to cause more harm. In one clinical trial, researchers fed 2 groups high-calorie muffins. The only difference? One group's fat came from palm oil, saturated fat, the other from sunflower oil, polyunsaturated fat. The result? The saturated fat group skyrocketed in liver fat. The sunflower oil group? They built lean tissue instead, without harming the liver at all. So here's your second command: avoid overfeeding on saturated fats. Not because they're toxic, but because your liver, at your age, is less forgiving. Instead, choose olive oil, fatty fish, avocados, walnuts, seeds. These fats heal, these fats nourish, and these fats speak the ancient language your liver still understands. Now, let's unravel another illusion you've been sold for decades. You've heard the whispers: cut carbs. Carbs are evil, but here's the deeper truth your liver wants you to hear. Not all carbohydrates are your enemy, only the wrong ones are. When you eat high glycemic carbs, those that spike your blood sugar like a rocket, your liver suffers. It goes into shock, and with every spike, more fat builds inside it. These are the usual suspects: white bread, white rice, instant cereals, processed potatoes, fries, chips, crisps. They seem harmless, even nostalgic, but inside your body they function like a sugar explosion. And the older you are, the more delayed your insulin response becomes. Meaning that spike, it hits harder, and it takes longer to clean up. But here's the shift that liberates you. Low glycemic carbs are healing tools. Yes, healing. Beans, lentils, root vegetables, even fruits, when eaten whole, are metabolically gentle. They release energy slowly. They stabilize your liver instead of shocking it. And they feed the microbiome that keeps your digestion smooth and your inflammation low. So if you've feared carbs, let that fear go now. You don't need to cut them. You just need to choose them with wisdom. This is where your senior edge comes in. You've lived long enough to know that balance is more powerful than extremes. Let your wisdom choose your carbs, and your liver will thank you. Let's clear the fog on alcohol. If you've been holding on to the belief that a little wine helps the heart, allow me to drop a truth bomb wrapped in compassion. Any amount of alcohol adds fuel to the fatty liver fire, even that innocent evening glass, even the doctor-recommended red. Because what alcohol really does is slam your liver's detox system into emergency mode. And if your liver is already storing fat, it can't afford distractions. But here's where the real healing begins. Not just by cutting out what hurts, but by bringing in what rebuilds. And that, my friend, is movement. You don't need to become an athlete. You don't need to run. You don't even need to sweat buckets. You need this: 150 minutes of moderate movement per week, a brisk walk, light cycling, dancing in your living room, twice a week of resistance training, even if it's body weight, even if it's 15 minutes. Why resistance training? Because muscle tissue is your metabolic insurance. The more lean tissue you hold, the more sugar you burn, even at rest, and the more efficiently your liver clears fat from its cells. With age, you lose muscle naturally. But that decline isn't fate, it's a signal, a call to awaken the fire inside you again. Your body remembers how to build, you just have to remind it. Now I want to speak to the deeper part of you, the part that knows time matters, that whispers, "I waited too long." But here's your hypnotic truth. Your liver is waiting, not to punish you, but to forgive you. It can still recover, it can still regenerate, it can still shed the fat, release the toxins, and glow again beneath your ribs. But only if you act now, because if you wait too long, this condition mutates. First it becomes NASH, then comes fibrosis, and then quietly, without warning, it becomes cirrhosis. And at that point, only a transplant remains. But you're not there yet. You still have the steering wheel in your hands. You still have the power to turn back, and your next choice determines everything. So make it now. Let the change begin now. Because even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, your liver is still listening. Let's talk about the few helpers that can amplify everything you've just learned. Now listen closely. You do not need supplements to heal your liver. You can do it with food alone. But certain nutrients can speed things up, especially for seniors, where absorption and synthesis slow with age. 1. Vitamin E. 800 IU daily has shown strong evidence of liver repair in patients with advanced fatty liver. But beware, too much, over 400 IU long-term, has been linked to prostate risks and mortality increases in some cases. So this one? Only with your doctor's approval. 2. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA-rich fish oil. These don't just help your heart, they actively reduce liver enzymes like ALT and AST and melt away stored liver fat. If you don't eat fatty fish, a supplement may be your best friend here. 3. Choline. This nutrient is often missing in plant-based or low-meat diets. And a recent study showed that people with high choline intake had an 81% reduction in liver fat buildup. You can find choline in eggs with yolk, lean meats, seafood, yogurt, broccoli, cauliflower, sunflower seeds. And here's your third command. Let food be your first supplement. Let your meals become medicine. Let every bite be an act of healing. So now you know, your liver is not broken. It's waiting for your signal to regenerate, to recover, to come back to life. You've been given the keys, what to remove, what to feed, what to do before time runs out. But knowledge alone is nothing. Action is the spark. You are no longer just a patient. You are the architect of your second chance. So take the first step today, not tomorrow, not someday, now. And if this awakens something in you, subscribe, return, because your transformation has only just begun, and I'll be here to guide you deeper. Until then, protect your liver, rebuild your strength, and reclaim your life.